Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. For years, I've been telling my family members and viewers all about the HR brick wall. And I've been telling them all about how females who work in human resources work against a company by keeping talented workers out of their business. Now, in this incident in Tampa, Florida, this 41-year-old black female HR worker, Megan Calgon, was alleged to have gone and destroyed a company's personnel files and stored resumes. And in this incident, she was arrested and charged with maliciously destroying personnel files and deleting thousands of resumes after she was terminated from her position at 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. Now, when I take a critical examination of the actions of your Megan Calgon, they fit right in line with the behaviors of many women, especially black women, I have run into who work in human resources. Now, many of these females who work in human resources, some of them are extremely arrogant, and they believe that because they have this education and they're working at this job, this gives them a sense of entitlement. And this sense of entitlement makes them believe they have the right to do whatever they please on the job, including disrespecting the business that they're working on. Now, this Megan Calgon was only allegedly working at 1-800-ACCOUNTANT for 6 months before employers were having issues with her. Now, I believe these issues go even further than what was allegedly reported, because I've seen these women who create the HR brick wall practically make it a nightmare in the workplace. And according to these reports, she was reported to be insubordinate, inappropriately kicking a colleague out of a computer system after she had gotten into an argument. And that really shows that this woman had a really bad attitude based on her entitlement. And that's the kind of behavior these types of females participate in, because they believe that the workplace is theirs to run and it is not a place that they're working at. So if they have an issue with a person, they will keep them from doing their job, all because they are in their feelings about that person and they want to keep that person from being productive on the job. And they really just want to hurt that person and mess them up so that they can get them fired. And that's probably what she tried to do to this colleague by locking them out of the computer system. And if things were getting so bad that they had to fire this woman over the phone, then I have to wonder how this woman behaved when she was out here representing the company doing interviews. Because females like this, if they are this ratchet with a coworker, then they're definitely gonna be really nasty with the people that they're interviewing with. And this kind of female, from my own personal experience, what they will do during an interview with potential clients is they will mock a person for the way they're dressed. They will go out here and minimize and dismiss the work experience of an individual, or they won't even read the resume. These people like this, they are just so arrogant and full of themselves that they believe that they are the gatekeepers and they are the king and queen makers, and because they believe they have a position of power where they have leverage, they believe it is their right to go out here and abuse people and make it where they have to go through hardships or their crap tests in order to get a job. Now, again, this female, from what is presented in the articles, really, if this is how nasty this woman was to her coworkers again, then she was also a nightmare to represent the company. Because also, you have to remember, your HR people not only represent the business on the inside as related to processing payroll and files, they also represent the company at
things for where with people who are working with companies that they work with, and they also represent the company at interviews and job fairs. So this woman's attitude was a serious problem, but this is what happens because your many of your employers, they want to hire these kind of females because they want to use them to be gatekeepers, and they want to use them to attack potential candidates like heterosexual black men. But this woman, it looks like she did more than attack your heterosexual black men and keep them from coming into the workplace. No, what she did was looking to be a terror in the workplace, and she was looking to terrorize her co-workers who were probably white and non-black, and because they could not control her ratchet behavior, which was pretty much out of control, they had to terminate her. And after they terminated her, what happened with this woman was she had a major vindictive streak, and with that vindictive streak, she decided to go out here and try to destroy the company the same way she would go out here and probably go out here and destroy the property of a black man she would have issues with by keying their car or doing some things like bleaching clothes. She would probably be doing that to a boyfriend, and she decided to do that to this guy, to the business that she was working at, 1-800 account. So she decided to do the equivalent of keying up this business's car by going into all of their files and deleting almost all of their resumes and all of their personnel files. And when she did this, she did over 300, she wound up destroying over 2 years of files in the building and over $300,000 worth of damage, and it cost them over $100,000 to get the system working again, but many of the files wound up being lost forever as a result of her damaging all of these files. Now, what I found to be really interesting about this Megden Calgome was how this woman got hired, but many other professional black men like myself, we couldn't get considered for this kind of job in HR. I mean, this woman already had a previous conviction for forgery in Florida from 2002, but this woman was hired and allowed to work in this position. Now, a heterosexual black man like myself with a college degree, we would be scrutinized by this kind of woman due to the HR brick wall, but this kind of female comes into this workplace even with a felony conviction on her record and is allowed to come into this job and make six figures. And again, that just shows how racist these corporations truly are, because the black man who had the same similar conviction from a forgery would never be allowed in the door. And this is just, again, really troubling, because you have this woman, again, who has a felony conviction, a bad attitude, and even worse, a bad attitude and a sense of entitlement, and she's allowed into this company. She allegedly, intentionally, and maliciously destroys all of these computer files of her former employer, and now what's happening to her is she's looking at 5 to 15 years of being in prison with your Lunette and Big Mama, and all because this woman could not control her emotions and could not deal with her nasty attitude. Now, clearly, this female really did not appreciate the opportunities that were given to her. I mean, here you are working at 1-800 Accountant, a accounting business, and instead of you taking the opportunity to improve your life, this woman comes in looking to go out here and make everybody miserable. But she is par for the course for the females that are a part of the HR brick wall. It's these kind of females that make the effort to keep talented people out, because these kind of women, they are extremely arrogant, they are extremely full of themselves, and because they're full of themselves, they believe they are better than everybody else, and they want to be the gatekeepers and the kingmakers. And as the gatekeepers and the kingmakers, they want to control a fiefdom where they can even go out here and decide what type of work they want to do. And some of them, they're used to be basically attack dogs in the workplace to keep professional black heterosexual men out of the workplace. But in this case, this woman just was so out of control that the employers couldn't use her to be their attack dog, because she was biting the hand that fed them. And as she bit the hand that fed them, then they had to go out here and put her down. And what they did was, after getting their paper trail together, then after they fired her, they then put together a case. And this is what happened to this female who thought she was all that and thought she was hot stuff. But I doubt they'll be thinking that she's hot stuff if they can get this second conviction on her, because once they get this conviction on her, she's going to be up in the big house with Lulabelle and Big Mama, and she'll be playing spades up there for the next 10 to 15 years. But this is what happens when you go into a workplace with an attitude and your feelings, and not critically thinking about building and developing a plan for your future. Now, this Ratchet female, all she was thinking about was just using the job as her personal playground and playing big shot and abusing and disrespecting people. And eventually the employer got tired of her and decided to terminate her based on her nasty attitude, her poor work ethic, and her poor work track record. And she decided to retaliate by destroying their files. And what's really sad is, at the end of the day, this is going to make it harder for another black person at this job. And that's why these Ratchet females, when they get on a job, they are a threat to everyone. Now, your white supremacists, again, will hire this person to be a part of the HR brick wall to keep black people out. And then when these people go out here and act crazy, then go out here and then say, this is the reason why we can't hire black people, as they hire some other minority. And then there's the whole door closes to every black professional out there at that company. And that's sadly what's happening here as related to this Ratchet black female. Because she was acting like a hood rat on the job and going out here and acting a fool on the job, everybody at 1-800-ACCOUNTANT is going to be scrutinizing all of the black workers at that company, because this black female decided to show out and act out on the job, and she decided that she wasn't going to be a professional on the job. And again, this disgruntled HR executive is a prime example of someone who was a part of the HR brick wall, and she is a prime example of someone who worked to keep other talented black workers out. And when she couldn't get her way, the same destructive behavior she used to keep black people out, she used to destroy the company's 17,000 resumes, destroy their computer system, and destroy all of their files, and destroy any other black person's chances of ever getting a job at that company. Now, this was a video that was requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video for me to make, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. If I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you donate to the Cash App, it guarantees that video will be made faster. And if you also want to help out, you can pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct imprint, like Stop Simping in the Workplace, which will identify a female predator like this and help you understand how to avoid issues with this kind of female. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today.